Alright, so we're having a quick look at the enigmatic camouflage cube van ambulance law enforcement vehicle, which is a very military sounding name for, I don't really know what this truck is supposed to represent. However, there are some wargaming uses for it that we're going to capitalize on. It looks like we could use this as a multi-function truck. I'm already thinking that there might be a way for me to put interchangeable signs on the side, so maybe I can make this an ambulance or a demolition vehicle or a troop transport. So, well, to begin with, we have to make some changes, right? I mean, this paint job certainly isn't going to work. The chrome wheels certainly won't work. I'm not entirely certain what this law enforcement gumball lights are going to be doing, so we're definitely going to have to remove those. So in order to prepare this thing for painting, we're going to have to take it apart. So we're just going to get a small set of miniature screwdrivers. I got these at the hardware store in the discount section. They were only $1 or $2. And we're going to start by taking this apart. All right, as you can see, we've separated the chassis from the rest of the body. And one of the things that I normally do so that I don't lose the screws is I will reinstall them back into wherever their sockets were here. So we're just going to screw these right back in so we don't lose them. Otherwise, especially with screws this small, you're very likely to lose track. And then you won't be able to put your truck back together again, which defeats the purpose. Oh. Looking closer at this, I can see there's a hole in here. It used to hold something. I'm not sure what that would have been, but we're going to have to clean that out and smooth that over. And it's definitely time to remove this law enforcement light bulb. Unfortunately, there's a screw that looks like it's holding that in. So we're going to pop this off. Oh, wow. Took the windshield out, too. That's actually kind of helpful, though, because I wasn't really a big fan of the blue windshield. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably paint this black, and then I won't have to worry about trying to paint the windshield around the frame. The frame can be one color, and then we can just put the black windshield in later. So that's actually a really, really good turn of events for us. Okay, so this is going to go here, and it looks like we're going to put, well, I'm going to put our screw back. I'm not going to put this thing back. So the screw is going to go in here. All right, so these are the pieces that we're dealing with. I'm going to go give them a bath because we're going to want to scrub off that mold release that's on them. Otherwise, there's a realistic chance that the paint won't stick or it'll rub off. We certainly don't want that. So we're going to move forward with getting the stuff cleaned up. We're going to do a little bit of construction maybe for our signs if we can get that to work out. And yeah, we're going to move from there. So I'll see you after we get this taken care of. So all of our pieces have been given a bath, so these are all ready for priming. But as I mentioned before, we were planning on doing something in the way of interchangeable signs. So we're going to take this aside for now. We're going to take this aside for now. And now we have to figure out how we're going to affix signs to the sides of this vehicle. Now what I'm thinking, and I'm not sure how well, there our camera can make it out. You can see by looking here that we have 3 doors. Or panels, there's not really doors. So there's 3 panels here, and I'm thinking we should make our sign about the size of the middle panel. So what I'm envisioning is something that I can slide in and out of runners. So I can make the sign out of this. This is just a very thin sheet of plastic, styrene, plastic hard as they call it in Europe. And that's very pliable, and that's very useful for being able to fit into a channel and slot. So then the next question was what we're going to use for the channel. And at Army Men Wargaming, we're all about recycling, repurposing things, and doing things as cheaply as possible. And I found in my bits box, which is a giant plastic tub full of scraps of things, I found this. Now, this is a bracket which was initially used to help keep sliding closet doors in their channel. There were these plastic barriers that poked up through this, and then the doors slid back and forth inside of it. But as I'm looking at this piece of metal, it occurred to me that I have a channel right here, and I could pretty easily cut it more or less straight just by trimming between these holes. That gives me what looks like, that looks like at least double the length of one of these doors, because I'll need 4, right? I'll need an upper and a lower channel. So what we're going to do next is get out the Dremel with a metal blade, and we're going to grind this thing through and cut these pieces off to make our channels. We'll then affix the channels to the side of our van, then the van body will be ready for priming. All right, we have our Dremel here. This is a rotary tool. It's one of my favorite hobby utensils. And we have a metal blade on the end here, and it's going to spin very, very quickly. Make sure that you wear safety glasses when you do this, because there's going to be sparks every place. All right, so here we go. All right, not bad, not bad. It's still a little warm, isn't it? All right, and it looks like these edges are still a little bit rough. All right, so now we're going to file off all the burrs. All right, that'll work. Now we're just going to cut our channels right off of here. Excellent. So these are going to be the channels, and if you look closely, you kind of make sure I get the angle right here for you. There we go. You see how it has that little channel in here? So we're going to use that to hold our sign down. All right, but now we want to cut these things to length, which will be our next thing. And it looks like we're going to need 4 of them. Just looking at this, it looks like we have about 2.5 inches. So we can maybe make our channels about 1.25 inches a piece, it looks like. All right, so after much trial and tribulation, we now have channels on which we can place our signs. We're going to have one below, one above here. Actually, I had that backwards, didn't I? And then we're going to slide our signs right inside of it. So that'll be the plan. I'm going to get a file. I'm going to clean these up because there's some burrs and such on them. But once we attach them, then we're going to be able to prime this piece. All right, friends, welcome back. We've given all of our components a quick bath using an old toothbrush and some laundry or dishwashing detergent. And now we have to affix these small fragments onto our van. And the plan is that once we have these placed, there it'll create something of a little channel, and then we're going to be able to slide in our signs within the channels. That's the plan. So we're going to see how it works. If it doesn't work, we only paid about $1.50 for the truck in the first place, so we don't feel too bad. So for this part, we're just going to use a little bit of the super glue here. This is a gel, which is something I like a little bit better. Doesn't run off as much. And I've roughed up the areas where I plan on placing the cement with a circular file, just so that the glue has something to kind of grab onto. Well, it took some doing, but we did manage to get the sides on both of them. And the other thing that we did, you'll remember we did have some holes here across the roof where some of the lights and other things sort of protruded through the top of the vehicle. So what we did is we just took a couple pieces of masking tape and just set those inside, right up in there. So that's where we're going to use as a base while we fill in the rest of it with spackle. This is just the common wall filler that we use for everything else. We're just going to fill this whole thing in. And this particular stuff I kind of like because it's pink and then it dries white. All right, so we're going to let this guy dry a little bit and give our super glue time to cure overnight. Then we're going to give this a sand and we'll just give it a base coat after that. So our wall spackle has dried and our glue is cured and we are ready for a base coat. As you can see, we just took a really fine grade sandpaper and we just ran these across the top of these holes to make that nice and smooth. So we're going to give it a base coat, see what it looks like, and we'll be right back.